the senior leaders in this country and all that, they do not give the right moral example. They also allow the export from the Kremlin of the poisonous ideas and give nothing in return. It's no good to say we are democracy and we can allow our people can manage with it. But they don't, because we have the example that universities, the trade unions, the schools, even the churches are penetrated by people who should never be allowed to be there. Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments on that? Okay, any other questions? You're over there, yes. No? All right, standing up, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like first of all congratulate our young speakers on the excellent speeches they made tonight. And they were all very good, and I should say excellent. And people of my generation did always worry what would happen when we are gone, whether our young generation will continue what we started. And tonight we can be proud that they can do, and they will be doing. I'm sure they will do what we want them to do. But unfortunately, I would like to draw one attention tonight. There are only a few of us here comparatively, and the listeners that are here, they don't need to be convinced, they don't need to be persuaded of what the speaker was talking. What we really want is to get through to the general public in this country and other countries. Unfortunately, we haven't got here any mass media. We haven't got any representative of the newspapers, radio, or television. What I would like to ask the panel, how do they imagine, in what way they can put what they said to the general public, how they can persuade or spread the information they put here before us to the public in here, in this country and other countries in the world. This is very important, and I would like to think about it and get around it in spite of the fact that we have no mass media here, that in any way what it was said, it should go through to the public in the world. Thank you.
I think we do have a comment on the previous question. So,
mais je voudrais bien expliquer pourquoi nous avons perdu la guerre. Il y a beaucoup de facteurs que nous avons perdu la guerre. C'est simplement un facteur que les jeunes gens qui n'ont pas entré dans la paix, ou bien que nous n'avons pas de l'esprit de les unir. Non, c'est pas. C'est parce que vous savez bien que mon pays est un pays moins développé, mais la propagande du communisme est une propagande excellente. Dans tous les pays moins développés, on aime bien des propagandes des communistes. C'est parce que chez nous, pendant la guerre, vous savez bien que le communiste a dit que s'il n'y a plus la guerre, chaque personne a un minimum une maison en briques. C'est parce que vous savez bien que chez nous, la plupart des maisons en paillotte, mais on n'a pas demandé comment faire, d'où vient de l'argent pour que chaque personne ait une maison en briques. Ce sont des propagandes, illusions. Et maintenant que vous savez bien que tous les Vietnamiens ont des exiliés, c'est parce qu'on sait bien que, comme nous, maintenant on a dit que le communiste vietnamien, c'est égal, ce sont des calomniateurs, ce sont des menteurs, et en plus que, vous savez bien, depuis la fin de la guerre jusqu'à maintenant, il y a déjà 10 ans, est-ce que la suprématie du gouvernement vietnamien se justifie à l'égard de son peuple? Il a justifié quoi? le terrorisme, la trahison, la dictature et les assassinats. Mais c'est parce qu'avant, on ne connaît pas qu'est-ce qu'il a expliqué. C'est parce que les gens, nous, ce sont des gens moins développés, moins civilisés. Merci.
Would anyone wish to summarise that? Please.
The explanation to that question is that our country, Vietnam, is practically, or was at that time and before the war, an underdeveloped country, economically and even culturally, and from an education point of view. That means that the youth and practically the whole people could be convinced by the liars of the communist propaganda. And we believed them because we were underdeveloped and we were a colony. And all these, for our youth and for our people, these propaganda words and ideas were taken as the truth. And during the war itself, we were told that every family after the war, if we communists win it, will have a brick, a house in bricks. Which meant something fantastic in Vietnam, where we had very poor housing conditions. And we believed all this. Of course, after the war, what we got was just dictatorship and tyranny, but it is another problem.
Thank you very
This is the explanation.
Finally, I'll just ask Ms. Larissa Figol to reply to the last question about how to get the message across.
I think the easiest for us that we as students can do is speak with students on our own level, and that's in the university system. Now as we walk through the hallways and the forums of a student hall, we find many Marxist tables that are set up with all this wonderful Marxist and communist propaganda. We have to speak to those people. Another thing that we have to do, and what our parents didn't have, is we have a knowledge of the language, something that many of you don't. We have to use that knowledge. We have to write letters to the press. We have to lobby our parliamentarians, just meet with anyone that we can, and use the abilities, the education that we have to gain our cause. Another thing, and I've noticed that being used here, is the word Soviet. I don't know what it is. We are either Ukrainians, Croatian, Latvians. We are not Soviets. Many people call us Soviets. I am not a Soviet. I think that's something that we have to explain to anyone who uses the word, and as soon as they use it, we stand up and tell them that they're wrong.
Thank you. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we've got to bring the proceedings this evening to a close. Time does not allow us to take any more questions. I think it's most appropriate and indeed necessary at a conference of this nature to have a youth panel. Throughout today and undoubtedly tomorrow, we will hear from people who have been in the front line for the struggle for freedom of nations, for the freedom of individuals. They've dedicated their lives to combat Soviet Russian imperialism and imperialism of other communist regimes. The Soviet Russian leaders and their fellow travellers take no satisfaction from the campaigns mounted against them by such dedicated individuals. They do, however, have one hope. They hope that the torch of freedom will become extinguished with the passing of this generation, and that once this generation of fighters has gone, there will be no one to replace them. We hope we have shown today, as if we needed to, that hope is a false one, that the torch of freedom, far from becoming extinguished, will be passed from one generation to the next, from father to son, father to daughter. And with ever greater intensity, they will campaign forever until their campaigns are met with success. I thank you very much for attending this evening, and hopefully we'll all go away renewed with more vigour for the campaigns ahead. Thank you. Just one final announcement. The dinner will be served in this hall at 8 o'clock, and therefore, if you wouldn't mind, could you please all leave this hall as soon as possible, because otherwise you'll just be delayed in getting your dinner. And those having dinner, it's the yellow ticket marked dinner the 22nd of November. Thank you.
The reason I was saying this, I was asking this question, is that we help the Contra, but we cannot, in news media, we cannot say it. We can only say we're helping the refugees. Do you understand?
Right, so that's all. Well, you say that you're helping refugees, and
yeah, because
if you don't want to get that, I understand that.
Because we have to do.
Okay, of course. Reverend Wallace, could you tell us something about the organisation which you're representing?
Yes, I am a Southern Baptist minister from Texas. I live in Honduras. I've been there for 4 years, and my wife and I are the Central American directors for a relief agency called World Opportunities International. This relief agency works in 96 countries, and it works about 80% of the time with children. In Honduras, we have 3 types of ministry, and that is, first we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with over 5,000 children who have terminal cancer. 50 of the children per day live in our home, and each day my wife and I take them to the government hospitals to give them chemotherapy and cobalt treatment. And my wife and I become their foster parents until the Lord takes them home. The second thing that we do, we bring in medicines from the United States and we deliver them free of charge to organizations of all type in all areas of Honduras, and it's given as a gift from World Opportunity to the children of Honduras. Then the third area in which we work is along the Rio Coco River between Nicaragua and Honduras. My wife is a Mosquito Indian. She is one of the elected leaders of her tribe, and in 1980 she escaped from prison in Nicaragua and made her way to Honduras. And in that particular area we work with something like 20,000 Mosquito Indian children who are from families that are refugees. These are children that somehow fall through the net. The UN High Commissioner of Refugees says that these children cannot be helped because their parents are Contras, therefore they cannot be numbered in a refugee camp. The Honduran government feels similar to that, and therefore there is no one really to take care of these children. So my wife, who dearly loves the children of her national Indian tribe, is working to educate these children, give them medical care, and give them nutritional care. And she feels strongly that the first thing that a child should be doing after he has been fed and taken care of medically is that he is learning, because without knowledge, without education, the Mosquito Indian is lost. He is absolutely nothing without the education. So overall, our program, which is something like, by American standards, $500,000 a year, we operate on $25,000 per year, and we take care of, or in some way our program touches probably 500,000 people during the year through our medical program, our refugee program, and our cancer program. And all of our work in Honduras is predominantly with children, teenagers, or young adults up to the age of 26. My wife is not here at this conference. She would love to be here, but unforeseen elements came up and we were not able to get transportation for her. But she is here in spirit, and I hope that the people of this conference understand the hardships that our family and our Indian tribe is going through. And I would just like to conclude by saying that since the communists took over in Nicaragua, our family, who are Moravians, 12 of them have gone to prison for their Christian beliefs, and 6 have died there. And my wife, before she escaped, was asked to come and be a Sandinista leader. And she told the president, Mr. Ortega, who is president now, that you can have my car, my home, my farm, my clothes, my money, but my convictions, my conscience, my beliefs, they are not for sale. My dignity and my pride are also not for sale. And I will leave this country with nothing, but yet I will be richer than all who stay behind in Nicaragua. And this is what has happened. We are richer because we did not sell what God had given us for a few dollars. And so we thank God that He has now lifted us up so that we can turn around and help those who are less fortunate because they were doped by what the Sandinista had said. They sold out to the highest bidder. Now we must help them because simply God says, if you serve others, we serve you. Thank you.
Reverend Wallace, what do you think that the people, in what way can the people of this conference and possibly this country help your cause?
Well, at the present time, I am going to be spending another week here, and if some groups could raise some money, as little as $25,000, we would be able to take care of those 20,000 children in the border between the two countries for 1 year. We need your prayers also, but I would like to go back to Nicaragua and say, we've got the 25,000, the children can survive for the year.
I think on that note, thank you very much indeed, Reverend Wallace.
Thank you very much. You got 25,000? I know it's a lot for some people.
Everybody here wants that. That's the problem.
Well,